Hello, and welcome to Real Swords.
I was drinking, Jim. It's also fake swords. Get it right.
Fake feelings.
No!
You get nothing from me this time.
No! The feelings are so real.
Harry
so
is.
real. Harry is. What's the
Harry
crack?
is imaginary friends of the internet.
Some of you are real friends.
I have no proof of that.
Okay. We left you on a bit of a cliffhanger last time, and it was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a serious cliffhanger, Jim. Get over it.
We only just managed to pull ourselves up off that cliff.
Yeah. We've been hanging for days.
Welcome.
Weeks even.
Welcome to our E1 roundup on the eve
Of E2. Yes. So last time we talked about Thursday night and Friday night.
Yes, so now we have, according to my notes,
Saturday
and-
usually follows
and soon die?
Soon die.
Yes.
So yeah, Saturday. What happened?
We woke up and it was like
We
the
did.
Lance kind of woke up a bit late. The muster was kind of already happening.
Oh
by
yeah,
the
we
time everyone was
barely
out of
made the
tent.
battle really.
And we ended up, as like we traditionally have, like absolutely chasing along after dawn, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes after, because
But
there
we
was a
got-
lot of new kit and hard stuff.
Yes.
And Clank
But
that had to go on this time around.
we have the shortcut.
We do have the shortcut. You see, our camp, if you look at the dawn layout, is actually right next to the Brass Coast. So we have a thing we call the Brass Loop, but there's a secret gate that brings us straight to the Sentinel Gate, all through icy locations as well.
Yeah.
So
It's handy.
we can catch up quite quickly, which always affords us a little extra time
Yeah.
for that kind
What
of
we
thing.
shouldn't do, we should be better at waking up on time and getting geared up. But we weren't.
Yeah, and then there was somebody had been moving around weapons and stuff. Basically, we were a shambles.
I feel E1 was very. I don't know if it was just maybe everyone was like out of practice or.
I think so.
It was very chaotic.
It was. It
Like-
really was. But yeah, I mean, look, fucking end of the day, we got there before the gate opened and the conjunction started, so
And it was fine. Everything
Fine.
went quite well.
everything went so well.
So well. I mean, really, everything did go well at the end of the day because we survived another battle.
Yep.
Fully. The Emerald Lance took no casualties.
Yep.
Which is great.
And actually, because we got separated from Dawn, like, and we were kind of out on our own, which is the most dangerous place to be, as you'll find out.
Yep.
So you're quite lucky we took no casualties, really. But you'll learn all about the horror in the forest, the horror in the woods.
Probably like right now. What else do we? What?
I'm just looking through we started out quite strong, actually. We came out.
We did.
There was a bit of skirmish, like right out the gate. You guys, if you were in the Saturday battle
Yeah.
on either side, know this. It was straight into skirmishing, like 10 feet out of the portal open.
Yeah.
And the Druge were doing, those tactics where you just kind of
Yeah.
and like run circles off the enemy line to try and bait them out and stuff. So we did fine there. We held up. We actually chased them, ran them into the woods a little
Yeah.
bit, and we ended up then skirmishing. And we killed a heap of them then.
Oh yeah. The first, like I remember, like we were like fighting the way through. As you said, it was like right at the get go, and we kind of like broke off, like headed. I don't know. I'm gonna say west, even though it's probably not west, but like left, basically.
I can
out
tell
the
you
gate.
exactly what direction next game. I'll have a compass.
Oh yeah, nice. Spoilers.
Yeah.
We hit left and we cleared out a fair amount of people, a fair amount of Druge.
Yep.
Like so much so that like, we're like, oh, this is all great, and then all of a sudden, seemingly the Archmage of Spring comes along. I was like, cast some massive mass heal on us,
Literally, like just sprung out of a bush and was like, "I heal you all."
and we're like,
I don't think we needed that.
yeah, like I think we, as a lance of like 12, we took maybe like 4 hits or something. It was like, oh. You probably wasted a lot of mana on that spell.
Yeah, like honestly, it filled me with confidence that we didn't need it to that degree.
Yeah.
Having already engaged a little bit, and then
we're kind of like quasi backlines then.
yeah, and
we
that's
kinda-
where we found ourselves for a lot of the battle.
Yeah.
Was on the flanks and the backlines, doing the work nobody else was doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was necessary.
And I tell you, I was thinking about it. I think we may have made a big difference there, holding the fuckery in the woods. I mean, we held it with our bodies, but we held it.
Yeah.
But not to skip ahead. So we did quite well, and there was a bit of like tomfookery in the woods, you know? Like I Naruto chased a Druge in full plate armor. And, a Naruto chase is when you like have the sword out behind you and you're running like an absolute weeb.
So unnecessary.
But like I ran, he just broke the tree line, and I ran him down in a field, and then there was a heap of other Druge, and the Emerald Lance just like comes out of the woods and destroys them. Really fun.
Speaking of tomfookery,
yes,
and Jerry fuckery,
yes,
Jerry shittery,
yes. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm about to explain it. That's why. There was a lot of tomfookery in the battle, mainly in the form of having a jape.
Oh yeah,
or taking a jape.
Did we talk about having a jape in the last video?
I don't think we did.
No. So on the drive over, we were. It was the three of us. It was Alan, Dylan, and myself in the car driving, like, you know, from Dublin down through Wales and everything, and just like at relatively close to the start of the journey, Alan turns around and they just go, "Huh, 'twere but a jape, me lord." And as things do, there's a spider, be careful. Is it a spider?
I don't know. I don't like it. Get rid of it.
I know you don't like
it. I
spiders.
don't like spiders.
Oh, it can jump.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that was actually weird. And it was a weird colour, so it might have had powers. But like,
honestly, if I got Spider-Man powers, I think I would. Oh. Yeah. I don't think I'd be happy.
So spiders, because Wicklow's relatively tame, you rarely see them with. I wish the video goes well. You rarely see them with colours. But if they have colours, that means they have powers. Maybe they have a bit of poison, or maybe they can jump or something, you know. But the colour ones always have an interesting power. Anyway, where was I? Having a jape. So Alan just turns around and goes, "Oh, 'twere but a jape, my lord." And I found it the funniest thing in the world. Like, so much so that,
I think, you know, sleep deprivation had a lot to do with that.
Classic long haul car trip form. It became the thing, like, and then that transitioned through into Empire, where like anything happened, "Oh, 'twere but a jape, my lord." But when it came to the battle, we decided that was going to be our. Because one of the things I had said to people is, if you get to two hit points
left,
come off the front of the line, get healed, and go up, and that allows for one fuck up, you know. But the code for that was
one measure of Jerry shittery.
One measure of Jerry shittery, yes. So I was like, if you find yourself on 2 hit points, declare that you need to have a jape and fall back off the line. So we'd be like line fighting, and someone would be like, "I need to have a jape," and then they'd like fuck off, and then they get back in the line. They'd be like, "You alright? Yeah, 'twere but a jape, my lord," and back into the fighting. So that was like our code word for I'm about to get fucked.
But I realize now we need to have a different code word because we just release it into the wild.
It can't be a jape again. It's too much of a one and done.
Yeah.
The
joke is dead. Leave it.
Yeah. And then we kind of cleaned up in the field then anyway, which was grand. And then it came time to break into the forest. And there was a huge choke point with like 600 people between us and it. So we just kind of had a little sit down in the shade.
Yep.
And when it broke through, then we funneled out. And whereas like the bulk of the Dawnish forces went left, we just threw the kind of fighting that happened to us. Like, because the way our lance had fought is we hang back and we fill holes in the line, you know?
Yeah, because we were kind of beholden to none.
Yeah.
In that, like, we kind of do our own thing. Not as like a rogue element, but like hey, we kind of sit back, see where needs support, go support them, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like, like additional forces that aren't expected. So yeah, that kind of stands to us. But it means that we sometimes get lost.
Sometimes. And that's what happened this time. And in fairness, we were with Dawn right up the way. We were just on the extreme wing of the line.
Yeah.
You know? And we were doing really well. Anyone in front of us was getting steamrolled.
We got a nice cheeky little counter flank charge off like a big group, which
we did.
Absolutely
that
wipes
was great.
That was really good.
Cleaned house on them.
Yeah.
And then the line started looking like there were a lot of japes needed. So I gave the order to pull back, and we were
have a bit of a mass jape.
We were just having a great jape.
Yeah.
You know,
like a comedy show.
And we got stuck. So not stuck, but we pulled right back.
Yeah.
I've thought about this a lot since. What happened was
it's been eating at you.
Yes, there was.
But see, it was
the reason we rested there as long as we did is because there was a tortured soul.
Yeah. That was the real kind of.
That's what.
We were the only ones that saw it, and then the line had gone off.
The
so
line
we're like,
had
okay,
gone
that's
way beyond, and there was a tortured soul, and it kept getting back up. So we were killing it, it's getting back up, and we were killing it and getting back up, and like, you know, we didn't want to leave it wandering in the back lines.
Yeah.
So I sent for a priest, and that just took a long time coming. But we were healing up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then, just out of nowhere, like, quite a few Druge came off the main field into the woods.
There's probably like 20
or so.
We were outnumbered anyway.
Like,
outnumbered
very
and caught off guard. It was like a terrible situation.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, the main army had moved so far that we could barely even see them.
Yeah.
You know? I'd say realistically they were like probably 60, 70 feet away, but that may as well have been a mile.
And especially through trees and things like that, where there's you can't even clearly like wave or gesture of like, oh help, and like a shout's not going to be heard.
Yeah. So we formed up as best we could. We had 3 very good shield bearers in the front line, and then I had the great sword behind them. But like again, as we were fighting them, like this is the line we were fighting on. There was a tree here. They started coming around the side of this tree as well, so we didn't even have a choke to hold them in.
Yeah.
And very quickly it went to shit. Like very quickly it went to shit. I was calling for a retreat. The back line was calling for a retreat. I couldn't hear them, they couldn't hear me, and the guys in the front line just simply couldn't disengage.
Yeah. Had they tried to retreat, they would have been cut down.
Yeah. And we got back 10 feet, and then that's what happened. I called full retreat to sprint back into the woods, and the back line, seeing me do that, were able to do it, but the front line was overwhelmed. So who went down there? It was like 4 or 5 of us were down and behind enemy lines.
Yeah, because I heard the call for retreat, saw everyone kind of overwhelming. I was like, okay, the only logical thing to do here is to pull back, try to get reinforcements.
Yeah, to pull back and then crash back in.
I go, pull back, turn around. Is that a horse?
It is a horse, yeah. It's one of the winged ones?
Yes. We just wait until that's gone.
Sorry, we waited for the horse to fly over.
So yeah.
It took ages.
Because I was in the back line. I can't remember what I was doing. Yeah, not important anyway, but I was in the back line. And yeah, we hear kind of like, I see kind of Druge approaching. Didn't know how many was there.
And they kept coming.
coming.
Like, we held for a while. Like, we got our kills in, but it just obviously this was meant as a really big flank to the back of the Dawnish army.
Yeah, for sure.
And where it should have impacted so many more people, it just found us.
Yeah. But yeah, I think about 5, it was roughly half, because there's about half of us in the front line, half to the back line, but they weren't even our normal lines, because like we had some of our healers.
Because we were standing around healing. Like,
we were standing around kind of getting ready, and at this point, because we were dealing with that tortured soul, or the twisted soul, or whatever they're called, the Druge.
Which we did get exercised before this happened.
Yeah. We were so far away from the enemy lines, and I remember pulling back. Then kind of like seeing, I don't know who was, Erzin or something, like a good while away, and trying to like scream for them to come and help. And by the time I like turned, screamed, looked back, like
they were on you.
They were on me, and people were down, and I was like, oh no, this is bad.
As Finton's like second time commanding, I had gotten back, because I wasn't on the front line, so I'd gotten back to a position of relative safety, and I was watching this. Like, I think you were down, Dorian was down.
I wasn't down.
Oh no, sorry. So Dorian was down.
Conrad was down. Diota was down.
Diota was down. Like, most of Carleone was down.
Yeah.
Like half our force was on the ground, and the Druge were now between us and them. And I was like, this is fucked. How do I pull this back? Like.
Yeah.
So we had our archers, and we had Tori and myself. The two of us. I didn't realize.
Yeah, you didn't realize.
I didn't realize you were still up, because you were up, but over there.
I was doing my own thing, because like I remember, because I wasn't fighting with you, because what I only really remember is Yeah, call to Earth.
Well, I'll go first because I didn't see you until after what had happened.
Okay,
you
go for it.
Far further back into the mess.
Yeah.
When I actually saw you fighting, and I was like, "What is he doing?" But yeah, so we had this 4 people, and I think I had instructed the archers to just fire indiscriminately into the Drush. I was like, take as many of them out as you can. I can't even remember if that order had kind of gone through or not, because again, there were still Drush coming at us, and I was fighting them with the greatsword, you know. And I sent, I can't remember if it was Meredith, Quentin, or Tori to just go and get help. But it was like the longest 2 minutes of my life. I was trying to keep count in my head while I was fighting and while I was giving orders and stuff. And then, just by some sheer fucking miracle, I don't know if it was the Brass Coast. I can't even remember who it was, or Varushka. But there was a unit was traipsing by injured. And I was like, are you all in fighting condition? And they were like, and I was like, are you better than them? And pointed at you guys on the ground. And they were like, yes. And then I was like, then you're following me. I grabbed them and countercharged the Drush and broke that initial line then, because we had enough shields with whoever they were, they had big shields, right? Which was enough for Face Taker to kind of like get over and start really hurting people,
being effective,
so we managed to break past, and we got the first 3 or so up. I think it was Meredith. No, sorry. Who was it?
Was it Guinevere, maybe?
Guinevere. Yeah, sorry. Guinevere kind of appeared back up because she had been down. And
she was only pretending, wasn't she?
No, that was Anna. Anna pretended.
Oh, yes. No, Anna was actually down.
But Anna pretended at first. She feigned death.
Sorry, yes.
For the first time, which is fucking great.
Genius, yeah.
And then Guinevere shows back up. We get Valiant up, and we get, I think it was Conrad up.
It wasn't Conrad.
No?
No, because I had saved Conrad.
Okay, well, whoever the last person down was, it might have been Percival. But we get the basically Carleone up, right? And then the countercharge gets stronger, and we push back again. But I see, like, again, well, between a line 2 deep of Druge in the back line, tying. Some kind of backline maniac. Fucking Leaf going 100 miles an hour, Druge falling left and right to you. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? I didn't realise Diota was so far back in the whole thing. So you can tell I have no idea what happened there. So basically,
and again, I don't know where everything was in relation to everything else, because it was I got first off got turned around. I had gone back. I had retreated a fair bit back, and I think, to the best of my knowledge, I think you guys were on like the right hand side.
Yeah.
Because I remember Diota being so far in, and I remember I pulled back. I had called for Urs, and I see them coming, but they were maybe 100 feet away. So like, they were going to take a few seconds.
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing like 3 or 4 Druge in front of me. And I was like, okay, Dylan, trying to do this. I was like, I still have all my hero points, so I'm not in a bad position. But like, I don't know how many hero points I'm going to need to keep people alive.
As well, because I've never fought a battle with that many calls being made against us.
Yes.
Every swing was a cleave or an impale.
There was a lot of calls being thrown. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just do what I can here. I was like, impaled one of them. So I was like, okay, you're
take one out of the
your leg is like,
there's
gone.
Only 2 swords coming at you there.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, bam, 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 just try to clear as much as possible. And as I'm doing that, I look over and I see Conrad, who's like half like kneeling, slumped on the ground, just looking at me. And I was like trying to like fight off, being like, are you alive? And he just looks at it and goes, like half, like just shakes it. And I was like, oh no. And he like, I think he lifted up his fingers. He's like 2 or like, you know, he's like, I was like, okay, yeah. I might even only been 1. I was like, okay, 1 minute is actually a lot of time in a battle.
But you weren't even sure how much of that minute was left as well. Like,
yeah.
You know?
And I was like, okay.
He's just there Doctor Stranging it.
Basically, I was like, okay, right. And then just absolutely just made a dash for it. And I was like, okay, just full out attack. I don't even know if I killed them or not. I was just like, I just gotta go. Ran, basically, impaled that one guy, knocked the other guys out, ran over, got Conrad. I was like, okay, good. And then he was like, Diota is like over there, and like at the other distance of gun, I was like, oh my god. So I had to run again another like probably 50.
That's where I saw you, literally like behind the enemy lines, full sprint,
And it
just like casually bopping people as you
honestly,
go, like.
it was probably only because you had that full force that you had taken their attention,
Turned them,
and
yeah.
then turned them and let me get through. And I wasn't even aware. I was just like, I gotta go, because like after I got Conrad up, I barely saw Diota flying on the ground. Like I was like, oh no, oh no. Yeah.
So anyway,
it was squeaky bum time.
it was like the squeakiest of bum times. Like dogs could have heard them, but like got through it, got everyone up. Miraculously, which I think
miraculously.
like usually you don't come back from something like that, you know?
No.
But that was the longest 3 minutes of my Empire career.
Yeah.
Hands down.
That was...
And as fun as it was, really made me realise I'm not too fond of the command game.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. But the battle was then great after that again. So
Yeah.
we after that was
It was a real U-curve, like...
Yeah, it was a very interesting moment then after that. We regrouped, we healed up, we were actually in good shape again.
Yeah.
But we were still isolated from the army.
Yeah.
We were out in the middle of the woods, there was nobody for miles around. We could see the Brass Coast out in the field.
Yes.
And we could see Highguard
at the
really
fort.
far away at the fort. And then someone came in a position of command higher than me. Obviously, because we were just our own little unit.
Yeah.
But they were like, hold this point. And Quentin is like, there is 80 Druge coming. They're like 200 feet away. They're there. We could see this army coming.
Yeah.
And we were like, we can't hold this point. And they were just like, no, you have to hold this point. And I was like, respectfully, no. We're going to Highguard. We sent someone running to Brass Coast to let them know they were about to be flanked and to pull back off the field. And then we went back to Highguard and got them. And we're like, huge amount of Druge coming this way. And like the fucking whole of Highguard turned around, they were like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
again,
great.
Highguard with the actual military competency and discipline and just overall solid on the battlefield.
Yeah, for sure. And then
solid.
From that
big ups Highguard.
From that point on, then the battle was both easy and quickly resolved.
Yeah.
We were never outnumbered. We were always with a larger force, and it was just skirmishing, which was really fun for I know for you and I.
Yes.
Skirmishing is the most fun because that's where we're in our element.
Yes.
You know, 1v1 in an open field, 1v2 in an open field.
Yeah.
Happy days. And that's what that was. And in fairness, the orcs knew it as well, and they were feeding very cool kills to the army as well, which was great.
Yeah, because because we then went and joined the Brass Coast. And it was a great moment because like we kind of came and they're like, oh, thank God Dawn are here, and we're like, we're in bits, lads.
Like there was someone there. I don't know. I think it was a Dawnish general, but he was like, Dawn, you are known for one thing. What is that thing? And we were like, fucking shit. We didn't even wait for the command.
Yeah.
It was just. But I was charging with Sonny from Highguard as well, who's. Sonny, shout out if you're...
Sunny Squad!
Sunny Squad, yeah, the first person we ever met in Empire.
Yeah.
And just every event, bump into them.
Yeah.
It's great,
It's great.
Good people. But this is the one time in the battle I've actually ended up next to them. We just charged, and then I lost them in the midst of it, but it was very fun, you know? Little face taker killed so many orcs. But the battle ended with Toyota hunting down and beheading an orc, which was fantastic. And then the marchers gave us an honor guard on the way out.
Yeah.
It was great as well. But that was the battle.
Yeah, that was the battle.
I'm not going to go too much into it anymore because it's been most of the video so far.
And we could talk, because we could talk about battles for days.
Yeah.
It's kind of like our main
thing in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it had been. Less so now.
The margin has narrowed, but it's still, for me, like that's my main draw into it. I'm getting more into a lot more of the game, but like it's still like, no, I want to do a battle.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have armor and a sword.
100%. So we got back. There was little Saturday things. We went and we met some people in Navarre. I think we went and met Caro.
That's when we met Caro. Yeah, Navarre General. Kind of discussed tactics and strategies of how to fight the Valoran,
which
was cool.
Because it's something that is still our primary focus as a house, and we haven't done yet. So
Yeah.
that's something we're going to have to try and make, like, actually put ourselves in the way to do, because I want to fight trees.
Yeah. No, and I've got plans for that.
Good. But yeah, so then came the tournament.
Yes.
So the Knight Protector of Winter.
Yes.
And there were two main kind of people vying for it. So there was Aranel and Sir Guy Wooder.
I was like, I can't even remember the.
Yeah, it was Aranel.
The other person.
She was going for it, and again, for the sake of brevity, like, kind of, it came down to a point where, like, it was two large forces had been mustered, like, you know, there was like, I think
it was basically just a line fight in the Glory Square, which is very unusual.
Yeah, and it's like, it's interesting, you know, because they were like, we were fighting for Sir Guy Wooder, because Callie came and asked, Lady Anira came and asked us would we join the fight, and we're always up for a scrap, but like, I was kind of flying by my Lance Commander. I was like, I'm gonna, you know, really pay a lot of credence to what my Lance have to say, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure this is virtuous, so I'm going to get the priest, and I got like Decimus to like interrogate Sir Guy Wooder a little bit and be like, why are you doing this? And he was like, I want to kill an Eternal, and we were like, that is ambitious and virtuous, and we will help you. Yeah. And I don't know, I actually don't even know what Aranel was, what her goals there were. Yeah. But anyway, came time for a big line fight, and it was great. It was real fun. Some highlights for me was I hadn't used my throwing knives yet. So the line started. There was one of the big Daunish generals. I'm sorry, I don't know your name if you're watching. I assume you're not. But you were in the center of their line, and I nudged the person next to me, like, look at this. And it like nailed him there. And he looked at me and he was like, and I was like, got him again. He's like, stop. I took one out of my boot.
It's just so disrespectful. It's so good.
He's like, somebody kill that guy. And I threw them all. I threw like 15 knives or whatever.
I can't remember who said it to me, but someone was like, yeah, I heard like someone, they are also on the sidelines, someone being like, overhearing someone else on the sidelines being like, is someone throwing knives?
No, there was a priest on the back line walking around with one of my knives like, is somebody throwing knives? I think I went, yeah, and I'm going to throw another, and chucked one at him. And then eventually I ran out of knives, so I had to actually take it seriously and fight. But this was great, because Tori and I, when we were training here, have drilled this formation, right? Yeah. It's a great sword.
You guys did a lot of kind of like duo fighting training, which like really paid.
And I'm gonna say, nobody could beat it. Whoever we were in front of in the line, they got their shit shattered and they got hit with a great sword. Like that's what happened, you know. At least then, until like our sides crumbled and we got boxed into a corner. But even then, we held for so long. I think there was one of the Durandals. I want to say Beaumont Durandal. Bohemond? I can't remember his name. But I ended up going toe-to-toe with him quite a few times. And, like, I'd imagine he has a wealth of hit points.
I can imagine,
you know? But that was great, because we held against that.
Also, just to point out that everyone else was, like, fully suited and booted with their gear, magic items, full armor. We were in a soft kit. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm just gonna have a fight. Like, I'd taken a tonic of endurance, so I had 4 hit points.
I had like the base hit points. Yeah. I had no boost to endurance. But that formation, like, fuck me, did it ever work? Yeah. Like, actually, oh god, I can't remember your character name, but Oliver from To Having to Roll, it came up against him. Godric. Yes. Yeah, it came up against him a few times. Yeah. There's a great moment.
you bastard, you cleaved my arm.
Oh, that was do you want to talk about that? That was very funny.
So I was fighting, as I said, just no armor. I had because I obviously knew shatters were going to be a thing, so I brought a sidearm, but I was using Leaf, my greatsword. It got shattered, and I was like, no, did it get shattered? No, I think one of my arms got cleaved.
And you couldn't use it.
And I couldn't use it. Actually, sorry, it was my right arm. So I had to pull my sidearm with my left. I was like, I'm not good with my left hand, but I was going a fair bit. Yeah. And then kind of, I think after I got cleaved, I was kind of disregarded. I can't remember who got it. It might have been that same guy who you ended up ended up being toe-to-toe with Cleve me.
He was throwing out a lot of cleaves.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, and I was like kind of just doing my best to defend myself, trying to get off a couple of hits, and then I think I got like Godric a couple of times on the side, and he kind of just turns around to me and goes, Cleve, and gets me on the arm. I'm like, oh, butt my arms out. So I kind of just stopped in the middle of the tourney, dropped onto my ass, rolled under the glory square rope, and I kind of just sat being like, I can't even wave for anyone to help me because my arms don't work. I was like, my arms don't work, help! But I wasn't bleeding, so I was like, I'm not gonna waste people's time. But I was gonna wait until Toyota came over, and she was like, "You okay, Tig?" I'm like, I can't wave, my arms don't work. She's like, I will heal you.
That was great.
Yeah.
I wish I had seen it. But I can imagine the little drop down and roll.
It was just like it was a real like cartoon moment of just like.
But yeah, no. At this point, we had gotten absolutely death donutted into the corner.
Yeah.
And it was like there was a great moment there where I was going against Godric and like fucking getting shots in, and I was being cheeky. I was engaging. I was blocking one person and then striking out to the person on their right.
Yeah.
So it'd be like block Bowman, strike for Godric.
Yeah.
Block Godric, strike for Bowman. So you're engaged with someone, but you're taking the points off someone else.
Yeah.
It's real. The hummingbird takes the honey dew or whatever it is from Wheel of Time.
Kisses the honey rose.
Kissing the honey rose, yeah.
I believe.
But yes, the hummingbird kisses the honey rose. Google that and you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah. And then the shield was causing us trouble. So I was like, Tori, break that shield! And he shatters it. And you just see like Godric being like, oh, well, okay. Steps back off the line. Comes back like less than 30 seconds later with another shield, and I was like, shatter that one too! Like Tori does. It was very funny, like, and then they just come back, and I was like, oh, fuck, we're out of mana, we're out of points. And then we just got steamrolled. But it was very, very fun. The tournament was great, and we should definitely do more Glory Square shit, which we did a lot of last year, but kind of it faded out towards the end. We got more into the Emerald Lands
inter-house
stuff,
politics, yeah.
But I want to get more back into the Daunish stage, and I will. But spoilers.
Yeah.
And then that leads us
too.
That leads us to
spoilers.
the main bit of E1 for us.
Yes. Agreed.
Hello, family.
Hello, family.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
How are you? Are you going gardening? He's
You're
shut.
not important today, Jim.
No, I'm not important. But yeah, so that leads us to the main part, and this is the part I'm glad my family walked by when we're going to discuss, which is Smutter Day night.
Now, Jim, I would like you, and I know you don't like to do much editing in these videos, and I know you said,
No,
I don't want to do a lot of
I have
editing.
4 days before Empire.
But it'd be great if you could just like dim the lights somehow. Is that something you could do? I know it's incredibly bright here.
Yeah, maybe. Physically do it on the camera.
So, imagine, I'm going to set the scene. The lights are dim. We're in the Bastion tent. And we're all just, taking it easy. Also, quick shout out to Shane for supplying us with a victory sword, which is a sword full of whiskey.
It's a glass sword full of whiskey.
It's the best thing ever, like ever. I don't think Tyke has been more excited about anything.
Oh, it was great. I don't even drink and I'm excited about it.
But so we're all there, spirits are high, we've all survived, and we sit there and we're like looking for some entertainment. And lo and behold, a few members of the Lance had bought some smut.
Right, what is it? TJ TF
Shagward, which that's another thing.
That can be in our next video.
That can be our next. Yeah, that makes sense for the next video.
Yeah.
I'll get that. So grab this for that. And we decide, why not read some smut together?
Which
Weird.
objectively is a weird decision to have made as a group. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, not something that we've ever done, talked about doing, had any interest in doing before, but we just thought it'd be really funny. And it was.
What?
Huh?
Uncle Dylan, you're doing it wrong.
Oh.
Dylan, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, what am I doing?
You're doing it wrong.
Oh.
Do better, Uncle
I
Dylan.
guess so. Or not even better. Just have to do it right, I think.
Bye, Matt. Okay. Yes. So the decision was made
decision was made.
that you were going to... And I wasn't there for this decision.
Oh yeah, you were there.
No, I came in and somebody was reading it.
Yes. So basically what happened was, I think it just came up randomly, were asked, oh, what do people get up to, or whatever, and I think Mimia was like, oh, I bought this, and we're like, that's hilarious, we should do like a dramatic reading of it just for the laugh.
Yeah.
And it was called A Little Night Magic?
A Little
maybe?
Night Magic.
Yes, Night spelled Knight, and we chose the one that we thought was more provocative, which had the illustration of a bear bum.
It had a bum on it, yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, this is going to be very saucy, and let's see kind of what the caliber of this is. No spoilers for, and no disrespect to TF Shagward, but my god, your smut is bad.
I thought it was very good.
It's very
Fintan
good.
thought it was very well written. Subtext of it all.
Well, Fintan was way too into the plot and the characters.
I just think that, you know, Martha was like a very good viewpoint character.
Martha
in
was-
a world that wasn't suited to her.
Yeah.
You know?
What was the main character's? Anna?
No.
No.
No. Anna was the
Yeah, of course, sorry.
incredible person.
Yeah. Anyway.
Martha and...
It was basically just the plot of Pride and Prejudice, but with
In
Highguard.
Highguard, yeah.
So yeah, we just all took it in turns to...
I came into the tent not knowing any of this was going on, and they were like, Fintan, read this, will you? And I was like, okay. And they handed it to me, and I was looking at it like, this is a bum. So I was like, right, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it well. And I pulled up a chair,
yeah.
and I put my like leg up, I gave it kind of like...
The most... Yeah.
Like
The most Shakespearean you could have.
one of these kind of readings. And I really went in for it, like, you know. And then I passed it to someone else, and then we did like... How long were we there?
Oh, we were reading this... I think the booklet is only maybe 48 pages.
Like it's a novella, for sure.
If you could even call it, like, maybe a short... Yeah, maybe a novella. But, like, it took us maybe 2 hours to read half of it.
Yeah.
Because we were just laughing so much.
But we were doing it in the theatrical round.
Yes, we were doing a round of... And everyone would just try to not even outdo each other, but just...
But take a different flavour to it.
Yes.
You know?
Like, just bring completely different energy.
And like, Brad was doing like a really fucking weird energy. But like, Ben was doing like almost a thespian reading of it and stuff like.
Yeah, I think me and you were leaning into like very just kind of like...
And the
like
D&D players of us came out where we were like trying to do different voices. No, you did something completely different. Don't say you, don't group me in with
Well,
you.
I was going to talk about that element of my persona afterwards.
You went to a strange and upsetting place.
But entertaining.
Somewhere across the course of the night, Dylan got put in the corner, like outside the ring of chairs, in like a darkened corner.
I don't know why I ended up there.
Like out of the light.
I think I wanted to sit on the
noises
ground.
coming from the fucking ground in the shadows, like. And at one point, somebody came in and they were like, "What is that?" And I can't remember if it was me or someone else said, "That's the smut goblin." And Dylan took that and
that's
like,
that was my personality.
I'd love to say ran, but like crept with his belly close to the floor with it, to the point where like we were doing the round, and then it came time, and at this point someone else was in the tent as well.
This was Tristan Tallstag.
Tristan Tallstag was in the tent at this point, and he came in and was immediately forced to read one.
Similar vibe.
Fair play as well. Absolutely read it, read the vibe of the room, and then gave it a proper reading as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But then we were like, okay, it's time. Let the smut goblin read. And Dylan just comes out in like a manner that makes Gollum seem measured. Like, I was like fucking twisting around on the floor as he read it. Went from a stand to a full flat lie in like a motion.
It's because I was trying to act out as much. We had like the only way I could increase the energy or do a different energy that hadn't been done was like, I gotta get real physical with these.
Fucking upsetting.
Yeah. And there was one part where I can't remember the exact line, but there was some line that had some sort of indication of like, oh,
it's something dropped.
Something dropped or like bottomed out or something. And I was like, obviously when you're trying to read dramatically, you have to read a couple of words ahead so you can kind of get to where
you're laying the track ahead of yourself.
Yeah. And so I saw that and I was like, excellent. And I was like, and dropped. And as I said dropped, I was like, went from this position to this position. And I was just like, what? Yeah, it was great.
It was very good. That was Smotherday Night, and I believe that's going to be a staple going forward.
Yes.
So if you want to get in on that, dear viewer, make sure on the Saturday evening to come around the Emerald Lance.
Yes, because we're going to have
a pavilion. About it. There's going to be a pavilion this time.
So we're going to do it outdoors now.
Yeah.
So I think that brings us to Sunday, Jim, and
let's speed through Sunday.
Yes, let's speed through Sunday
because this has got to be like 40 minutes or something now.
So much so that you need to go and reset the camera. Yeah. Yep. So let's speed through Sunday then, real quick. Sunday brought us to Monstering, where we brought somewhat of that same Smotherday Night energy into Monstering.
An awful lot of the Smotherday
Night
into the Monstering. I'd imagine it was probably very hard to take us seriously as monsters.
Probably, yes.
Which was their failing because...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
First off, I think right at the top of the Monstering, we had a kind of unit commander.
So, this is something that needs to be said.
Yes, this is actually really, really important. You were called Anna, and you were a delight. You were the best thing about Empire ever.
Highlight of the entire event, and this is us, not just us saying it, but the entire Lance.
Yeah, everyone had only great things.
Everyone you interacted with, you brought a smile to their face, as well as being an insanely competent unit commander.
Very competent. Yeah.
To whip us into shape was impressive.
Yeah.
What did you say in the middle of it? We were there, someone was like, we love you, and there's a house.
Yeah, a house just flew by.
She was like, you guys are great, and we were like, we need someone who can control us. We love you, Anna.
Shout out to Anna.
Shout out to Anna, absolute treasure, shining star from beginning to end. Also did, in like, the refs and stuff were trying to tell us to get all off the field, and she was like, no, debrief is important. Gathered us around into a circle and said, you did this great, thank you to everyone, 3 cheers for
checked in with everyone, was just very, very solid commander.
Absolutely class act. So Anna, the best. So Monstering, we decided our group was going to be called
The Marthas, as a throwback to Smotherday Night.
As an homage.
Yes. A true dedication of spirit.
Yes, exactly. That was good. But my words are gone. We got to. We were the Bills. The Bills and the Marthas, and I believe a lot of the Bills, it was their first time monstering.
Yes.
So they were met with an energy probably they were a little unprepared for from the Marthas.
Yeah.
You get through the gate and everybody no marcher bullshit, and everyone goes, yeah, okay. Who are? And we brought that energy very strong this time around.
Yes.
But also because we're all very good fighters.
And because Anna had a tight leash.
A very tight leash on us. But we were doing a 1-2 punch where she had the Bills and the Marthas, and she'd be like, Bills this way, Marthas this way. And we were just slamming them from both sides. It was a very effective tactic.
Yeah.
But they, literally in their defense, planted themselves in front of a trench.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's two dragonflies having sex.
Yeah. Go.
Oh, you can probably see it real clear on the camera, maybe.
It's a good camera. I think I'm shooting 4K.
They were drawn by Smotherday Night, Jim.
Dragons, love it. But some highlights of the monstering. So we'll start with your greatest opponent.
So here's the thing, right? I was out of character. I wasn't Tig of Houseglade Warden, adept at fighting in the trees. And I should have been, because I let that get the best of me. And again, as Jim just mentioned, this ditch, which I didn't realize ditches were so effective. I knew theoretically that
I wasn't. It was a 4-foot ditch. But it meant to get past the enemy line, you had to go down, so you were fighting at the low ground
in mud,
then come up.
Just very, very hard. So there was a particular point where a few of us had jumped over the ditch. We saw kind of
at one point they gave up that advantage and they were fighting like 4 feet back from the ditch, so we were just jumping it and then fighting on the line,
which was like we were doing quite well in. But our whole thing was we were only told to jump in, hit a couple of times, pull back, get a breather, get healing, whatever. That was our thing. We weren't supposed to break through, Jim. We were supposed to just harry them, basically keep them in place, maybe draw them out if possible, and then smash them. But so I had jumped in using my new pole arm, which I'd gotten, which we mentioned last video. Yeah. Still kind of unsure of it. Was fighting some guy or some person, and was like, okay, cool. Because we had jumped in and over the ditch, I had gained ground, but I had gained ground in such a way that I wasn't fully sure of what was behind me and around me, which is my own mistake. I should have had better situational awareness, but these things happen in the heat of battle. So went in, got some hits off, was like, okay, time to retreat, turn around, smacked into a tree, like fully, like actual impact into a tree. You can probably see I have a little bit of a scar still.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I'll put the picture of his injury up on it.
Went to the ground, dropped my weapon because it was a proper OC injury.
Oh, like it looked like I was a bit afraid to look at it because I was like, oh, am I going to see his skull? Look, if you don't like looking at injuries, look away for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But also, anti shout out to this guy that I was fighting because he kept hitting me on the ground, and I was like, dude, and I can't remember who was with me. Because again, it was a blur, but someone beside me was also called him. I was like, hey, leave him alone. And I was like my hand went up. I was like, I'm OC now. I'm injured or potentially injured. Fucking
that one's red.
Christ.
It might have powers.
Oh no, that was the one that was getting.
It was drawn to the blood.
Oh my god. So yeah, I smacked the tree. Now I was actually fine, but I was like, oh, I've hit my head. Gotta go get it checked out because that's just a safe thing to do. Yeah. But I obviously didn't realize what it looked like because you can't see your own forehead, surprisingly. Walked back and everyone was like, are you okay?
People thought Dylan had gone to get a prosthetic wound for an injury.
Sorry, that was it. The person beside me was the only reason I realized oh, we really need to get this checked out was like, did you have fake blood coming into this? I was like, no, I didn't. Oh, I'm gonna get that checked out. All the while, your man.
Well, yeah, I didn't see any of this. I just heard it secondhand.
And I was like, okay, you're a bit of a dick. I'm gonna leave. Walked back, got to test it. Got it cleaned up. It was all fine. Just a lot of blood.
It was a very big surface injury, but it was actually fine.
Yeah, it was fine. But
it kind of took you out of the battle in the monstering.
Yeah, because I didn't want to go hard, and I was like, I kept, because I was sweating and my plaster kept coming off, so I was like, okay, I don't want to go too
I think I was
hard
being a dick to you at one point as well, because you walked up and somebody had handed me a heap of weapons, and I had 8 weapons in my arms, and I was like, are you alright? Because I had gone to find you and you were gone to the medics.
Yeah.
So you came back and I was like, are you alright? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, Grant, you can hold these for a while. 9 weapons in your hands. Picked one, grabbed it, and ran back to sorry.
But no, that's fine. I mean, I was
just passed it on to the next person. I don't even know whose weapons they were.
Me neither. I was like, okay, cool. Oh, here's my weapon, grand. And I kind of put them down and went to fighting again. Yeah. But but that had given me, while I was going to get sorted, you had your own little japes.
It gave me the opportunity for the finest japery.
Such tomfuckery.
So we had been doing this 1-2 punch of Bills, Marthas. And I Quentin and I, or Joey and I should say, I can't remember what our Martha names were.
I don't think we had Martha names. But I think we were all just called Martha.
We were a bit like we'd love an opportunity for some shit fuckery, Because it was fun, but it was very much the same thing again and again and again, which is what you're meant to do with monstering. But I figured they would be they'd want a little more spice on the line as well.
And also,
I want to feed them some.
Anna had very much been if you guys see opportunities.
Well, that she had said, if you see an opportunity for something, let me know.
Yes.
And it wasn't happening, and it wasn't coming. So I went up to her and I was like, look, two of us are kind of springy boys. We're agile. If we see an opportunity to get through the enemy line and do some damage, can we? And she was like, look, if you see the opportunity,
It's just
take
such a
it.
wild story. I
And
love it so much.
we were like, yes. And it didn't happen for 3 or 4 minutes after that, but then the opportunity presented itself where there was a tree. And
possibly the same tree that
I
did
think
this
it was.
to me. Yeah.
One side of the army advanced up through the tree, but the other side didn't see that because of the tree, and there was a gap. So the line had moved this way, kind of, and separated. And we were like, this is it, fucking go. So we sprinted at it, but the line closed again before we got to it. And I was like, shit. But I turned to look back at the line, and this golden opportunity, like absolute perfect storm presented itself to me. It was, I think I had Leaf. I think I had your sword, which is like, I'm very good with this because it's super light.
Yeah. Me and Jim
Have each other's weapons.
have each other's weapons. It's a whole thing.
But, like, my point of view was absolutely clear bit of dry ground because we had been fighting in marches.
Yeah.
Marshes, I should say. Tree trunk angled like this, right? At about shin height. The enemy line with 3 shorter combatants. And I was like,
I wish I'd have seen this so
dare
much.
I?
I would love to have seen this.
So I was like,
Real Troy.
only
shit.
live once, and I flat sprint, plant off the tree trunk, and jump clean over them. One of them takes a swing up at me. I block it with Leaf and land on the other
No,
side.
did you not have a staff at this
Or
point?
maybe it was a staff. I can't. It was a staff.
was a staff because
of this is what
Yeah,
inspired
yes.
the next episode. Spoilers. But block it with the staff. Land down. Like I made. Now the one thing I did make sure is that there was no one behind them.
Yeah.
So because again they were shorter and I had the high ground, I could see that it was like 3 people, and then just open ground behind them. So jump over them, block the hit, turn around, and the enemy line, obviously, everybody's instinct is to turn and fight the person who is then behind them. So I get fucking rushed by about 8 people. Like maybe block 2 hits, immediately overwhelmed. But while they turned, the Bills and the Marthas charged and completely broke their line. But my shitfuckery were not done, my lord. Because I was
This
bleeding.
is the most ridiculous.
I was bleeding out behind their lines, and I was like, Jim was like, that was really fucking cool. I loved that. But then 2 of their healers came over, and they were like, are you all right? And I was like, I'm dressed as a marcher. They think I'm an Imperial citizen. And I was like, do I play this? And I was like, of course, it's a role-playing game. You have to do what your character would do. And I was like, I was hit. I didn't lie. I was like, I was hit
The
by
best lies contain a grain of truth.
I was like,
A
I
potato
took a lot of
truth.
hits, I'm bleeding out. And they were like, okay, stay with me. And I was like, okay. And then they moved me over to all of their injured. And I'm like, I'm not this big a dick. But I was like, I'm just gonna blend for a little while. And then Alan and I think it was Benjamin come along, and they're like, are you dead? And I'm like, and they just kept going, but like they were kind of shouting at me over a bush, like, and then someone took a knock. I was just about to go. I was ready. I think the weapon I had I can't remember the call. It was strike down or something on it, but I was just about to go because their line had marched, and I was literally, there was like a little window, and I was going through them. Like that was my plan, was to go in, strike down, cause same job, as much hassle as I possibly could. But just as I literally had gathered my feet under me to spring, somebody fell and took a real hit, and they did one of these time stops.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, looking at them, and I could see another one of them looking at me, and I was like, it's time out. You can't tell them. It's time out. And then the dude next to me ended up, he was lying with his head on a branch. So I ended up putting my hand between the branch and his head because it looked mega uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he was like, how are you doing? And I was like, trying not to give away that I was about to kill him. I see. I was like, yeah, good. No, it's going well. Like, I didn't expect to still be alive. he was like, yeah. And then they were like, okay. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Bop. And then Bop got another one. Bop got a third one, struck one down, and then they realized. And just as they turned, the Marthas and the Bills charged again, and the line got pushed back. And my little Martha came out of his adventure unscathed. And I jogged back up to Anna, and she was like, how was your adventure behind the line? And I was like, I didn't die. I'm still here. And she was like, what? But that was it. That was that was my probably one of my best bits of Empire. Just such nonsense.
Oh, can't wait to Monster again. It's gonna be so much
it's
fun.
the most fun. But yeah, look. Oh, and then sorry, the last bit, because I know we're probably very low on time.
Yeah.
But the last bit was
yes.
The rest of it was a lot of standing around. But at one point, Benjamin, Ben, and I noticed that there was an Imperial dying behind our line. And we were like, come on, let's go and make it more interesting for him, because obviously he's going to die here.
Yeah.
So we went up and we were like, oi, are you dying, are you? And he was like, I don't want your healing. I couldn't heal you if I wanted to. Just thought you might like a chat before you slip off into that wee labyrinth of yours. And then we were like, so, how'd you die? And he kind of gave it to us. And then we started talking amongst ourselves and kind of forgot about him a little bit, and then getting into the bit, and we were like, oi, are you still here, are you? And he was like, I've got about 30 seconds of life left in me. And we were like, all right then, go on, tell us what you died for. And he goes, I die for House, I think it was House Dunning. He goes, I die for House Dunning. As he's like fading away, and we were like, did he say House Dung, were it?
So disrespectful, so good.
I go, well, that makes a lot of sense, because he's destined for the shit ditch. How many do you think it's going to take to lift him? And he's just trying so hard not to laugh, like. But it was so funny, because then Benjamin comes in like an unhinged fucking maniac as this guy's, and he's like, you're fucking dying in a ditch, and your friends are miles away. And the guy just dies.
If I die, I want something like that to happen, just to take the edge off.
But that was because when Ronan died, there was a Jotun gave him a bit of role play, and I was like, that really takes the sting out of it, and it was great.
Yeah.
So I love being able to do that for people as well.
Yeah.
But look, that was E1. Yeah. We hope you enjoyed our retelling.
There's probably other stuff that we forgot there too.
I'm sure there was.
There's a whole drama there of the questions of the Lance leadership.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Completely. We like freaking Conrad absolutely ambushes Finton back at the camp, and he's like, "You're unfit. You're a better fighter than you are a leader." I think I held my own a little bit. Like I was like, "How the fuck are you supposed to plan for a fucking ambush behind your own lines?" Like, But it's that like there was a whole big question there where the Lance like got reorganized, so we had like a backline command that could sign a horn. Yeah. But again, we're like fully out of time. Lots we've forgotten about. I'm sure. The main thing was that we communicated Smother Day Night.
Honestly,
come and get involved. It's so much fun.
Smother Day Night, best night. Anyway, look, we'll see you in the next one, which is where we talk about what our characters are up to. Now, bye. Cool.